Hey everyone, it's Katrina. Number 10. Lost Mesopotamia. There is a new artificial intelligence capable of identifying ancient Mesopotamian sites with an 80% accuracy rate. Researchers used 5,000 sites to train their model in what to look for while scrubbing through satellite photos. The program very quickly learned how to spot particular shapes and patterns that could be never-before-seen ruins. But as of right now, the program hasn't done anything particularly special. It hasn't discovered any lost cities or interesting archaeological zones. I'm sure it's just a matter of time. But Mesopotamia already has a long history of secrets being revealed through satellites. Anthropologist Dr. Jesse Casanas studied old spy satellite photos taken of Syria to uncover the truth of Tel Brak near the Tigris River. Tel Brak is one of the largest ancient cities in Mesopotamia and among the oldest in the world. It was originally photographed from the air in the 1920s, then excavated in 1937. It was considered an international city in its heyday. People from Babylon, Sumer, and Akkad all lived together within its walls. Around 2000 BC, it was abandoned for unknown reasons and gradually became a ruin. When Dr. Kasana started looking through spy satellite images from 50 years ago, he noticed that Tel Brak's ruins might be older than archaeologists originally thought. He suspected that instead of the city being settled around 4000 BC, it was founded around 6500 BC. He also thinks Tel Brak might be the first city in the world, and it was all thanks to studying the old satellite images. However, he still needs to find artifacts to confirm his suspicions, and that's proved to be a lot more difficult than he hoped. Number 9. The Sharkno eruption. NASA recently took satellite images of a submarine volcano in the Pacific Ocean. It's called Cavachi, or more casually, the Sharkno. The underwater volcano is famous for being the home of multiple shark species. Amazingly, sharks live inside the volcano, even though it's such an extreme environment. According to NASA, their operational Land Imager 2 captured the new photographs of the volcano as it erupted. The images show the murky blue waters of the Southwest Pacific, and rising from the volcano, a cloud of green, super hot, acidic water. Cavachi is named after the sea god of the Vangunu people who lived on Vangunu Island east of Papua New Guinea. It is one of the most volatile underwater volcanoes in the world. It started erupting in 1939 and has barely taken a breath to stop. It may have been erupting even earlier, but nobody noticed because it was underwater. The summit of the volcano is about 65 feet beneath the surface. It has created several islands from its eruptions, but they always end up getting washed away by the sea. It was nicknamed Sharkno in 2015 when researchers witnessed sharks and fish living in its crater, inside its active crater, where at any moment, superheated magma can hit the water and create steamy explosions. Silky sharks and scalloped hammerhead sharks live inside the hot water. Scientists called Cavachi a natural laboratory, and one full of mystery. For NASA to capture images of its eruptions from space is seriously next level. And now for number 8. But first, it's shoutout time! I want to give a big thank you to Samla8078 and Tony Vanova9360 for supporting this channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to join the Origins Explained family. Number 8. The Tombs of the Nomads. The ancient Scythians appeared in Central Asia around 900 BC. They were a group of nomadic warriors who specialized in horses and archery. They expanded their territory from China to the Black Sea, traversing vast stretches of uninhabited land. However, due to their nomadic lifestyle, they did not settle permanently in one place. As they followed the seasons and the availability of food, they left behind pieces of themselves all over the place. There are thousands of tombs spread across Central Asia, Siberia, and along the edges of the Black Sea. The tombs were very simple. A deep grave pit was dug, then the body was inserted. The pit was filled with soil and piled with stones. Most of the burial mounds have been pillaged over the years, and the artifacts stolen from them. Gold, jewels, weapons, and horse gear, all taken out of Scythian burials. But not all the tombs have been found. mostly because the area is so vast and finding them is so hard. Technology is changing that. Archaeologist Gino Caspari from the University of Sydney has been using satellite images in northwestern China. He and his colleagues mapped about 68 square miles of disturbed burial mounds. They were able to see which mounds had already been pillaged and which ones might still contain treasure. This is a huge deal because it will make life for archaeologists easier. They can now start to search for burial pits more likely to contain mummies and gold. The study revealed that about 3/4 of the burial mounds in northern Xinjiang have already been looted. That does indeed suck for researchers, but a quarter left intact is still good news. Besides, most of the tombs being looted is not a huge surprise. When Russia began to colonize Siberia in the 1700s, tomb raiding was big business. It was a seasonal industry, with hundreds of workers hunting for lost Scythian tombs. It was like the Klondike Gold Rush in North America, resulting in a massive loss of cultural history. Number 7. Elephants, satellites, and AI. For the first time in human history, animals have been successfully counted and photographed from space while moving across a complex landscape. African elephants, naturally being so big, proved to be an excellent first. From 372 miles above the surface of the planet, WorldView 3 and WorldView 4 satellites counted the number of elephants in South Africa's Addo Elephant National Park. The counting was done by artificial intelligence, and the whole operation was very impressive. Until recently, the only way to know how many animals are in a certain place has been to use airplanes. A group of conservationists will fly a plane low over a national park and count the elephants themselves. It's a tedious job that takes many hours and can make mistakes. But satellites have now gotten so good, and mixed with deep computer learning, they can survey 2,000 square miles in minutes. This most recent project proved that AI is as accurate as the human eye, for spotting elephants anyway. Isla Duporge from the University of Oxford said the proof of concept is so good that conservation organizations are already hoping to replace their aircraft surveys with it. This is only the beginning. As the technology advances and becomes more available, counting animals will become easier. Presumably, satellites will be able to count how many animals are in a certain country within a matter of seconds. That's still years away, but it's completely plausible. If Bigfoot really is out there, satellites and AI will be how we definitively prove it or disprove it. What else do you think aerial AI technology will discover? Number 6. The Lost Vikings. Satellite technology has identified what could be an ancient Viking site in North America. There is already one Norse site in Canada, Lansdowne Meadows. It was built on the island of Newfoundland in the 11th century AD, proving Vikings beat Christopher Columbus to the Americas by 500 years. But now satellites have identified another one. It's located on the southwest coast of Newfoundland, not too far from Lansdowne Meadows. If true, it could mean Vikings began settling across much of the island. They may have inhabited it for centuries, living alongside Native Americans. They may have also built a second city and then died out. Researchers just don't know what happened to the Canadian Vikings. The discovery was made from 400 miles above the surface of the Earth. Infrared images were taken of Newfoundland. Space archaeologist Sarah Parcak from the University of Alabama was looking for discolored soil and anomalies in the vegetation. Did you know there was such a thing as space archaeology? I didn't. These are typical hints of something hiding underneath the surface. These scans discovered artificial shapes that suggested ironwork. The landscape was changed in such a way that would have been done using iron tools. Native Americans in Canada did not have the knowledge of how to process iron ore. This was one of their biggest disadvantages when the Europeans arrived. They didn't have iron yet. These scans show that some cultural activity was happening at this site, and those who were there likely had iron tools. It's approximately 300 miles south of Lansdowne Meadows. The Vikings may have sailed around the island and established settlements at what they thought were important places. Nobody really knows. It's important to know when this was made because it makes a big difference in interpretation. These satellite images were taken by Sarah Parcak in 2014. The potential Viking settlement was named Point Rosé, but it's been almost 10 years, and no new evidence has come out. The site still hasn't been confirmed as a legitimate Viking settlement. Excavations in 2015 revealed bog iron ore, which was thought at the time to be evidence of Norse activity. But then, in 2016, it was discredited as a natural process. The site is still a major mystery, but Sarah Parcak may have given up. She hasn't applied for an archaeological permit since 2016. What do you think? Should she keep looking? Let me know in the comments. Number 5. Aliens harvesting sun energy. UFO hunters recently analyzed images taken from NASA's Solar and Heliospheric Observatory satellite and made some wild accusations. By UFO hunters, I mean self-proclaimed ufologists. They claim to have found in the satellite images a gigantic, unidentified flying object near the sun. The object, according to UFO hunter Scott Waring, is feeding off the energy of our beloved star. Scott says that when looking through the photographs, he noticed the UFO appears and disappears several times a week, but it always seems to come back, and it looks very much like a spacecraft. It looks like it has wings. Scott said the potential UFO reminded him of a giant angelic being. In reality, what were the UFO hunters seeing in the images? The alleged UFO does look like an alien ship. You can't deny that it looks like a vessel sailing near the sun, but it also kind of looks like a glowing paper sailboat. If not for the intense size of the thing, it could easily be dismissed as a trick of the light. NASA engineer James Ober said most UFO sightings are little more than space dandruff in front of the cameras. The huge UFO, said to be harvesting particles from the sun, could just be a piece of fluff that fell in front of the camera. Then again, why would it come back over and over again? What do you think about this one? Is the alien ship nothing but a piece of chipped paint? Or are aliens really harvesting energy from the sun to take back home with them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're at it, be sure to subscribe. Number 4. Persian Nukes. Something spooky is going on in the Persian desert. Satellite images recently revealed what appears to be an accumulation of nuclear weapons at Iran's Fordo nuclear facility. Not the buildup of nuclear weapons themselves. That hasn't been seen in satellite images. Instead, the satellite pictures showed air defenses being moved to the nuclear site, presumably to protect it from attack. 2 uranium enrichment sites received additional defenses. These are 2 of the key nuclear facilities in Iran. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard deployed a Power 737 missile system and SAM air defense missiles at both remote desert outposts. Does this mean Iran is preparing to plunge the world into a third global war? That is wild speculation, and nobody can say yes or no. But the new defenses did happen to be moved to these sites in the final weeks of Donald Trump as president. It's been a couple years now, and Iran hasn't launched any nuclear weapons. But it's scary to know that these sites are so heavily guarded and presumably ready for action. Number 3. Secrets of the Bermuda Triangle. 150 miles off the coast of Florida, NASA's Terra Modis satellite took photographs over an area of the ocean called the Bermuda Triangle. Perhaps you've heard of it. The satellite was not targeting the Bermuda Triangle for any paranormal reasons. It was focusing on coastal clouds. But the meteorologists studying the photographs noticed something unusual. They spotted a series of clouds shaped like hexagons. The hexagonal clouds range in size from 20 to 55 miles wide. Meteorologist Randy Cervini from Arizona State University explained that the hexagonal clouds are something called air bombs. They form from microbursts of air. Blasts of air move from the bottom of the clouds, ricochet off the ocean, and then form air waves. These air waves can be so strong that if they hit a boat the right way, they could capsize it. The air bombs could even bring down an aircraft. When the air hits the water, it's so strong it can generate a wave of over 45 feet high. It could be that air bombs are responsible for the many ships and planes that have gone missing in the Bermuda Triangle. Number 2. Band of Holes. In Peru, there are about 6,000 human-sized holes spread throughout the Nazca Plateau, known as the Band of Holes. They took the international community by storm in 1933 when Robert Shippey published an aerial photograph of them in National Geographic. Archaeologists visited the site in the 1970s, and in 2015, archaeologists from the University of California used a drone aircraft to create a detailed map of the site. The best way to look at it is from above. Despite the many years of research, Band of Holes is still a mystery. Some people call it Smallpox Hill. Locals don't know who made the holes or what they were used for. Some suggest they were graves. Others say they may have been used as storage pits during the Inca Empire in the 15th century. But nobody really knows, and no amount of satellite images or drones has changed that. Number 1. Herald Bluetooth's burial. Scientists believe they may have discovered the lost tomb of King Herald Bluetooth, but it's not a sure thing. Herald Bluetooth became the ruler of Denmark and Norway after the death of Old King Gorm around 935. Archaeologists have a very good grasp of Herald's life, but then the final decade of his existence suddenly becomes obscure. There are no written accounts of where he was buried. Researchers say they have used satellites to identify a mound outside the small Polish village of Wiekowo. They think the mound was built in the 10th century as a burial plot for Herald. The mound does exist. It's visible in satellite images. But for some reason, nobody's gone to excavate. The images became international news in 2022, but there has yet to be a major excavation. The burial mound is right there next to the church. Why is nobody digging it up looking for the dead king's body? And not to mention all his treasure, too. Did you know that Bluetooth technology is named after Herald Bluetooth? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and come back soon. Bye!